know that the exam system proved to be beneficial to the autocrat,
To the
right?
autocrat, not to the state
Oh,
in general?
no, that's a good way of looking at it. It was also good to the system as far as the autocrat constituted a major part of that system, right? So
Yeah.
essentially, it promoted autocratic stability. And if you look at the data on the duration of the rulers, they increased after they introduced the exam, and the length of the dynasty also increased somewhat, not as much as the duration of the rulers, but that also increased. And also China became a unified country after the 6th century. Before the 6th century, there was period of unification, but there was also a long period of disunity. After that, 6th century, basically China remained unified except for a short period of time. But majority of that time period is a unified country. China today is a unified autocracy. So it promoted the duration of the ruler rule. It promoted the longevity of the system. It promoted the unification of the country.
As I was reading some of your essays and watching some of your prior interviews, two things that stuck out for me when it came to these exams. I've actually read books about this, and it's a vast subject of how these came about. But one of the things that I realized is that, unlike Europe, Chinese monarchs, emperors, were sort of surrounded by people that were not in the elite, that were not,
Yeah.
let me correct that were not born into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
elite class. That's a
yeah,
difference.
yeah.
And this was sort of subtle. It took me a while to catch up to this. Is is my assessment correct here?
Your assessment is absolutely correct. And I'm writing another book with a co-author of mine, Claire Young. We have data to show after the exam was introduced in 6th century, the people around the emperor, the people around the autocrat became even more of a commoner background than before, right? So the exam definitely tipped the balance in favor of those people who hailed from humble backgrounds relative to born elites.
That didn't exist anywhere else. I mean, if you look at, I don't know, in Middle East, Europe,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
kings and queens were surrounded by other
that's right.
nobility, born
Yeah,
into nobility, right?
yeah. Yeah, so to get back to the earlier question you asked, is China unique? Yeah, I would argue it is unique, right? And the exam system was introduced so early, and then it had this democratization or democratizing effect in terms of the mobility, upward mobility, right? So this is kind of almost like the myth of American dream, right? So on the
Yeah.